First of all, our firstborn, Eileen, was a very good little baby and a nice little girl growing up, and she said she was a goody two shoe, but she went to work and got herself through college and master's degree, and we taught school for 33 years, 36 years, excuse me. And from what I understand, she was an absolutely wonderful teacher. Her students keep coming back and wanting their children taught by her. So that's a nice plus. And my husband was a teacher, and his attitude was a teacher is born, not made. And he always said that's what she would do because she would teach the other little kids, the younger group. She taught them how to read when they were especially like from Joni or the last three or four, because she was already teaching that grade. And then comes Bernie. Well, Bernie tried college 2 or 3 times and it wasn't for him. But he found work in a jewelry factory, and he now is a supervisor and over a great many men. And so he's done quite well for himself. And he's married and has 2 girls. They, in turn, have children. So that makes me a great grandmother. And so he's very happy doing what he's doing. Next comes Mary. She is the intellect, but also the one that is the free spirit of the house. She was the first one who took off by herself cross country, met up with some girlfriends, and they just called home and said, "We're on our way to California." And that kind of shook us up because she was going to be taking a year out of school. And we said, "Hey, you got kids, brothers and sisters that back you. If you, say no to school right now, who's going to pay for it? If double up the payments and things." So she said, "That's all right. I understand." And she did. And a year later, she came back and she went right back to school and did very well in school. She always did anyhow. But then comes Patty. Well, Patty had to follow Mary. And Mary was, if she looked at something once, she knew it. Poor Patty had to look at it twice and maybe 3 times. But she did very well anyhow, despite of it. But she put a lot of work into her career. She's a nurse, and she's got her degree in science and nursing. And she found her niche. She's extremely good nurse. And she's had some difficulties with health, but right now she's doing well. She's married and has 2 children. Then comes Bob. Bob is a professor of social work at St. Joseph's University. He also has a law degree in family law. And he's a quiet one. Both my sons are very quiet. I think they were overrun by girls in the family. Like my pediatrician said when Bob was little, he didn't talk very much. He said he doesn't need to. He said they do all the talking for him. So I said, that's right. But yeah, he's got 2 boys. And then comes Kathy, who is the sewer, quilter, artistic person. And she's a wonderful cook as well. Oh, so is Bob, by the way. But Kathy is very creative as far as her quilts are concerned. She does a wonderful job, and they're all beautiful. And she married Jeff, and then she has 2 sons. Maureen was a very sweet child, and she was very flexible. When she was a baby and that, she became, like if we were going anywhere, it didn't matter whether it was her sleep time or not, she was all ready to go. She was a very well-behaved child and very smart growing up. And everybody liked to take Maureen someplace. Like my sister would take the kids out, and she always liked taking the girls, the three girls. She said Bob was too quiet. Went to Catholic elementary school to the 8th grade, and then went to a classical school and did extremely well. And she worked part-time in what was then an outlet store. It was a department store. I think that was only in her senior year. But summers she always worked in the shore, at the shore here, and her hamburger and chowder and whatnot all got together on that. But all the kids work there, all but Eileen. And Maureen has 4 children. And she has a tall husband. He's with me being only under 5 feet, it seems that he's taller than that. He's like about 6'4" or 6'5" or something like that. I'm not quite sure. And next comes Annie, and Annie was a little bit more independent as a child. I think she learned that from the others. She just followed what the others were doing, and that she did very well in school, and she's married, and they have 2 dogs. She's traveled to Egypt, and she been to all the Mid-Eastern countries. She's been to Australia, China. She walked the wall. I'm not sure about Japan, whether she's been to Japan or not. I wouldn't be surprised. But the one that shook me the most was when she went down the Amazon, and that, because that, besides being dangerous, is just quite an ordeal. Then Joan was the baby, and everybody liked to take care of Joan because she was a good little one, and she never caused any problems. She was always good, and she went off to Holy Cross to school, and there she met her husband Frank, and they have a son Jake. My husband and I, Grandpa George, we just hoped that we had prepared them well for life. And by the time they were 18 and going to college, that they had enough common sense and enough ability to make a decision of right and wrong, and that their morals were of the highest standard. But I think every parent wants to make sure that they've done the best they can in preparation for a life, and not to interfere after that. You can guide or answer questions, but you don't interfere. But so I think we did okay. I don't know if it was all of us, but and the kids, I think, looked to each other a great deal to see what they did. They learned by Mary's doings. She was the free spirit. I used to tell her, Mary, you can write an autobiography, but wait till after I die, because I don't want to know what you did.